challenges does Canelo pose hopefully once you guys get in there?
I don't know. I just think, his punch power and his physical size is the only thing that I really
The man must have seen something when he called Canelo out, because you gotta remember, bro called Canelo out. So he must see something in order for him to get that win. And he know he can win. So like I said before, it's our job to get him.
Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have never gotten along, but now the tension between them has reached a whole new level. The animosity has been simmering for months, and today's heated run-in at the airport was just the latest eruption in a rivalry that keeps getting nastier, proving just how massive this showdown is becoming.
Canelo versus Crawford, the biggest fight in the game.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like when you're looking at Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, this is the next thing beyond that.
They haven't fought, at least not yet. But the way they had to be physically separated today says everything about where this is headed. The incident has the boxing world buzzing, so let's get you up to speed.
I have Canelo. Canelo's more comfortable at 168. He's going to fight again for undisputed for a second time at 168, so this is nothing uncomfortable to him. Terence Crawford's a great fighter, and of course, we're starting to see that he can probably make 168 naturally. But again, it's a different division. 147, 168, two different divisions.
Canelo has made his stance clear from day one. He doesn't take Crawford seriously. He doesn't see him as a real threat and hasn't held back in saying so. Canelo has dismissed the idea that Crawford belongs in the same ring with him, calling him too small, too unproven at higher weight classes, and too arrogant after a single big win over Errol Spence. One fight doesn't make you great, Canelo has repeated time and again. For him, this is just business as usual. In his mind, Crawford is stepping into a fight he doesn't fully understand, and once they are in the ring, that reality will become painfully clear.
I think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo. But what's his options? I mean, if Bivol wins, he could fight him for undisputed. That's a very tough fight. What's the other options? Benavidez is up at 175. Obviously, His Excellency wants to make that fight, so I guess we could see it next.
But Crawford sees things very differently. He's been waiting for this moment and has been studying Canelo for years. He's noticed the signs, slower reflexes, moments of fatigue in recent fights. In Crawford's eyes, Canelo isn't the same fighter he once was. He's openly accused Canelo of ducking true competition, choosing hand-picked opponents to protect his legacy while avoiding dangerous fighters like David Benavidez. Crawford believes he's the one who will expose Canelo, not just beat him, but embarrass him. After today, the rivalry has turned even more personal. Crawford, still fuming from their near confrontation, didn't hold back. I won't let him disrespect me. If he thinks he can intimidate me, he's got another thing coming. There was no promoter standing beside him, no cameras pushing him to hype the fight, just raw, unfiltered frustration. He's had enough of Canelo's dismissive attitude. Enough of being treated like an outsider in the sport. For Crawford, this isn't just a fight anymore, it's personal. And he's ready to prove exactly why.
And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that favor Canelo is that is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And
Crawford's move up to 154 pounds was always expected to shake up the boxing world, but now, with a potential clash against Canelo Alvarez on the horizon, everything has been turned up a notch. After becoming a full-weight world champion by edging out Israel Madrimov last August, Crawford proved he could hold his own against bigger opponent, but now, he's setting his sights even higher, jumping to 168 pounds to face the undisputed king of the division. At 37, time isn't exactly on Crawford's side. This could be one of the final chapters in his legendary career, and he knows it. That's why he's made it clear, if he's going out, he's doing it on his own terms, against the biggest name in boxing.
Say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ.
Not everyone thinks it's a bad idea. Shakur Stevenson, who sparred countless rounds with Crawford, has been one of the loudest voices backing him. He's been saying it for years, even before Crawford seriously considered it. But style is a nightmare for Canelo. I've always thought his style beats Canelo, Stevenson said, doubling down on his belief that Crawford has all the tools to make this fight incredibly one-sided. I'm not saying it'll be easy, but he can make it look easy.
He could punch at 135, or Tio, once he moved up to 140, they like, oh, he don't punch as hard as he punched at 140. Yeah. But you're moving up in weight, so for me to do it in 3 different weight classes at 27 years old, it just makes it so much better. And I understand the sport of boxing. I understand that at 135, the guys is bigger, stronger, tougher. So they're not able to walk through me. Honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody who is mentally as strong as Terence Crawford. So
it's a bold take, but Stevenson isn't just talking to hype up a friend. He knows what Crawford brings to the ring. He's seen the speed, the seamless stance switches, and, most importantly, the underrated power. I don't think Canelo walks through his punches, Stevenson said. Terence can punch, and that goes for any weight class. And that point matters. Crawford may be smaller on paper, but he's not stepping into this fight as some feather-fisted technician looking to play it safe. He's entering with real belief that he can hurt Canelo, and that changes everything.
If they do fight, Cole, how do you see it going?
If they do fight, I told you I think that Bud outboxes him. I think he's going to use his leg, keep Canelo on the outside and make it an easy night.
Got you.
Dmitry Bivol, the man who already handed Canelo a loss at 175, sees a clear path for Crawford to do the same. But for him, it's not just about Crawford's skill, it's about how well he handles the jump to 168 pounds. Speaking from experience, Bivol didn't sugarcoat the reality. He needs to get used to the power and pressure at 168. It's a big difference. And that's the biggest question looming over this fight. Will Crawford's sharpness, timing, and punching power hold up against a naturally bigger, stronger opponent?
First reaction, of course, it was about size of Crawford. Is it okay for him to move up 2 weight classes, yeah? And he has very good skill. He able to win this fight. But there is a lot of but, and even not but, there is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself on the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, a lot of things. But he's able, he has good skills, he's
Bivol believes it's possible, but warns that physical adaptation alone won't be enough. It's not only about getting used to the power, he said. It's also about being mentally ready. That, he admits, is something Crawford has never struggled with. He's fought his entire career with a chip on his shoulder, always proving people wrong. But this time, the doubts are louder than ever. The boxing world isn't just questioning his skills, they're questioning whether he even belongs in this fight. If that doesn't motivate Crawford, nothing will.
Do you favor Canelo or Crawford in the fight? Like, how do you think the fight goes?
It goes Crawford will try to keep on the distance Canelo, but also just to keep Canelo.
David Benavidez, the man many believe should be facing Canelo, has his eyes on this matchup, and he's intrigued. He calls it one of the most compelling fights in recent memory. This is going to be a fight for the ages, Benavidez said. Canelo, he's got the experience, the skill set, the ability to adapt. Crawford, he's got the versatility and the technique. This one has the potential to be an all-time classic.
Crawford throwing his hat in to want to fight Canelo at 168.
I mean, everybody wants to fight Canelo. It's the money fight. You know what I mean? I think even Inoue would come up to fight Canelo. Canelo wanted to fight him. I mean, I don't want to see Crawford to fight Canelo, to be honest with you. But it would be. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a great fight. It'd be a great fight. But I feel like if I deserve my opportunity, and and after this fight, what else are they gonna say? You know what I mean? This is a tough fight. You know, the top WBC, the top people ranked at WBC are fighting each other. So I mean, it shouldn't be. It should be an easy call. If I can't get those fights, then I'll go up to fight Bivol, or I'll go try to, you know, I set my conquest on 175. Like I said, I don't want no handouts either. I want to, you know, earn my spots everywhere I go, even at 175. But you know, I see that weight class. You know, I want to become champion at 175.
Benavidez understands the clash of styles better than most. He knows Canelo is a master of controlled aggression, calculated, precise, and relentless. But he also respects Crawford's ability to switch seamlessly between orthodox and southpaw, using angles to frustrate and outmaneuver his opponent. It's going to come down to who can impose their style, and who can adapt on the fly, Benavidez said. That's what makes this fight so unpredictable. Both guys are elite at adjusting, but only one will take control when it matters most.
I know you said like he could be the guy. What kind of a chance do you ultimately give him?
I think you give him like a 7 out of a 10.
Oh wow, that high! I thought you were gonna say like 25.
I mean, no,
just because of the size.
Good. Crawford is good, and
of course.
I think he's been known that he's gonna fight Canelo for a long time. And you know, Crawford he likes to pick up the weight, so I'm sure he's been working on the weights for a long time. So, you know, Crawford, when he has with a person that has big IQ like that, if you do enough weights, you know, and you stay working for a long time, you know, you have a puncher's chance, and you could, you know, you definitely, you know, make the other guy uncomfortable or hurt him a couple times. So, yeah, Crawford is a really good fighter. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if a lot of people are picking that, but
for David Benavidez, the stakes are deeply personal. He's been chasing a fight with Canelo for years, only to be told time and again that it wasn't the right matchup or the right moment. Now, he's watching Terence Crawford, an outsider to the super middleweight division, step into the opportunity he's long been denied. Benavidez knows that whoever wins this fight will likely become the new face of boxing, at least for a while. But he also knows he's right on their heels. Whoever wins, Canelo or Crawford, they'll be next in line for the biggest fights, he said. But I'm ready for any of them. I won't back down from any challenge. And then there's Ryan Garcia, who just lit up the boxing world with his take. He didn't hedge. He didn't sugarcoat. To him, Terence Crawford doesn't have a real shot. There's no debate, Garcia said. Crawford can't beat Canelo.
What about Canelo and Crawford? What do you think?
That's going to be a great fight too. I can't believe they made that happen. See, Turkey's been making a lot of great fights happen. You can't.
No hesitation. Sitting down with AK and Barak on the Ring Champs podcast, Ryan Garcia didn't just predict a Canelo win. He completely dismissed Crawford as a serious threat. He can't beat Canelo, Garcia said, shaking his head like it was the most obvious thing in the world. He didn't look that strong against Madrimov, and Madrimov isn't even that big. That last line hit hard. Crawford had narrowly edged out Israel Madrimov in his last fight, but Garcia wasn't impressed. In his view, there was nothing in that performance to suggest Crawford has the firepower to compete at 168, especially against someone like Canelo. Size, power, experience, Garcia said. Canelo has all the advantages, and people need to stop pretending otherwise.
I think Crawford has the skill and IQ to win. Canelo is too strong, but would go for Bud just for the upset money. But my problem with that take is this. I hate when in a fight, when the physically weaker guy has to rely on their IQ and skill.
But then there's James Toney, a man who fought across middleweight, super middleweight, and light heavyweight, and he doesn't see size as the issue at all. While Garcia focuses on physicality, Toney sees something else, pure skill, and in his eyes, that's where Crawford holds the real edge. Crawford isn't just good, Toney said. He's unbeatable. When asked about the fight, Tony didn't hesitate. Easy win. Trust me. That's not the kind of thing you say lightly, especially when it comes to someone like Canelo. But Tony wasn't backing down. Canelo's a good fighter, he added, but he's not on James Toney's level.
Like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just...
That one line said it all. James Toney sees himself in Terence Crawford, a slick, sharp, multidimensional fighter who can dissect even the most dangerous punches. If Toney says Crawford wins easily, he's not being reckless. He's saying Crawford's skill set is simply too advanced for Canelo to deal with. He's not worried about size. He's not worried about power. He's only looking at who has more tools inside the ring. And in his eyes, that's Crawford, by a mile. Then, just as the debate reached a boiling point, Floyd Mayweather Jr. stepped in and made sure his voice was the loudest. As always, Mayweather wasn't interested in playing nice. He went straight for the jugular. You can take a guy like Canelo, Mayweather said in an interview with Fight Hype, pausing for effect.
Canelo's gonna walk him down. Crawford is gonna do a lot of defense. Now, if he pulls off that win, dude, that's gonna be one of the most biggest, upsets of all time.
Mayweather has never bought into the Canelo hype. I'll tell the truth about Canelo, he said. The guy was easy. A cakewalk. Easy. That wasn't just confidence, it was a full-on dismissal of the undisputed champion at 168 pounds. A man who's defeated the likes of Gennady Golovkin, Caleb Plant, and countless others. Mayweather wasn't impressed then, and he's not impressed now. You're all praising this dude, Mayweather said. He was nothing. I was almost 40 and I cooked this dude, easy. But this wasn't just about ego. This was Mayweather drawing a direct line between himself and Crawford. If he could school Canelo at nearly 40, then why wouldn't a younger, fresher, just as skilled Crawford be able to do the same?
12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, what do you think about that fight if they did fight? Looks like it's up for September.
And he didn't stop there. As of right now, I'd put Terence Crawford as number 1, pound for pound, Mayweather said, no hesitation. That statement hit hard. Coming from the undefeated legend who ruled boxing for over 2 decades, it wasn't just praise, it was a verdict. Canelo's good, he implied. But Crawford is better. And in Mayweather's book, better beats bigger, every single time. But if there's one opinion that might matter more than Mayweather's, it's Sean Porter's, because unlike Garcia, Tony, or even Floyd himself, Porter has actually been in the ring with Terence Crawford. He's felt the power. He's seen the angles. He's lived the pressure, and what he had to say should give every Crawford doubter a reason to pause.
How can you, a man coming from 147, I know he's a great man. Crawford is a great man and a great warrior. But you come from 147 to put on a better fight than I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means that Crawford is so great and he can do that, or that means that Charlo set the bar so damn low that anybody can do.
Crawford is as good as you think he is, Porter told TalkSport Boxing, his voice carrying the weight of real experience. Then he gave Crawford the kind of compliment that hits harder than any punch. I'll tell you what separates him from everybody else. He has it physically, he puts in the work, but he has an added component. He's the strongest and most courageous man I've ever been in the ring with. That's not something you hear often in boxing. Fighters give each other props all the time, but that's different. That's rare, and that's exactly why Sean Porter believes Crawford has what it takes to beat Canelo. I do believe he can beat Canelo, Sean Porter said, sounding more convinced with every word. I think it's perfect timing for both of them. I think Canelo has enough miles on the clock that he could break down over 8 to 10 rounds, and it could be Terence's fight. That last point is crucial. While most people are locked in on the size, weight, and power gap, Porter sees something else, timing. Yes, Canelo is a monster at 168 pounds. Yes, he's the undisputed champion. But he's also been through wars, the grueling GGG trilogy, a tough loss to Bivol, and bruising fights with Kovalev, Plant, Saunders, and Charlo. Those battles take a toll, and Porter believes that wear and tear might be exactly what tips the scales in Crawford's favor. On the other hand, Crawford is coming in fresh. He's not battle-worn. He doesn't have the same mileage. If he can take Canelo into deep waters, drag him into the later rounds, make him work harder with every passing minute, Porter believes that's where Crawford wins this fight. Joe Rogan, meanwhile, isn't buying the idea that Canelo has some overwhelming physical edge. While much of the boxing world is locked in on the weight jump, Rogan is coming at it from a completely different angle. To Rogan, this isn't about size. It's about skill, and Crawford, in his eyes, has more than enough of it. Speaking on the Joe Rogan Experience alongside Antonio Brown, Rogan pushed back against the narrative that Crawford is too small. "You know why I'm excited," he said. Terence Crawford and Canelo, that's the one. A lot of people think Terence is too small. But he weighed in the other day at 185 pounds. That, Rogan argued, is a game changer. People assume Crawford's small because he's fought at 147 and 154 pounds, but when he's not cutting weight, he's walking around much heavier than people realize.
Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He will take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
And if he's naturally walking around at 185 pounds, then stepping up to 168 isn't nearly as drastic as it sounds. He just won the 154-pound title, Rogan pointed out. Before that, he was at welterweight, 147. But it's not like he doesn't have time to put on some weight. And that's the key, Crawford isn't rushing into this fight. He's allowing his body to adapt naturally, methodically, is not showing up undersized and overmatched. By the time the bell rings, he might be just as strong, just as durable, and just as effective as ever. More than anything, Rogan gets it. Boxing isn't just about weight, it's about skill. And in terms of pure skill, Crawford is one of the most complete fighters alive, 41-0. 31 knockouts, Rogan said. His record speaks for itself.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I'm...
No one's figured him out. No one's even come close to beating him. And if there's one universal truth across all combat sports, it's this: elite skill can neutralize size. The problem for Canelo isn't just that Terence Crawford is skilled, it's that he's different. He's a switch hitter, a master of distance control, and a fighter who makes in-ring adjustments better than almost anyone in the game. Against Israel Madrimov, Crawford proved just how adaptable he is, dominating a naturally bigger man with precision, timing, and ring IQ. Meanwhile, Canelo still has business to handle before this potential super fight becomes a reality.
I'm a fan of that fight. There are too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one.
First, he's scheduled to face William Skull on May 3rd. And while most expect him to win, boxing has shown us time and again, anything can happen. If Canelo gets past Skull, the stage is officially set: Crawford versus Canelo. Size versus skill. Power versus precision. And if you ask Joe Rogan, this fight is a lot closer than most people think. So now we ask you, how do you see it playing out? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more fight build-up, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews as this rivalry continues to heat up.